Welcome to Spill Your Milk, the podcast where infant feeding, lactation, and orofacial development come together in insightful yet casual conversations.
We're your hosts, Nicole Edwin and Kayla Richardson, speech-language pathologists and international board-certified lactation consultants.
We're here to help you navigate the world of infant feeding, airway health, and holistic wellness. Whether you're a seasoned parent, expecting your first baby, or a professional working with babies, this podcast is for you.
From breastfeeding and bottle feeding tips to developmental feeding and body work, we're tackling it all. Plus, we'll share some real stories from families and interview experts across the field.
So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's spill some milk.
What are we talking about?
I don't know. This should be fun today. My brain is, I'm unmedicated, you know.
Unmedicated should be very fun. Or
And
not.
the amount of times I walk into a room and have no idea why I'm there is getting like...
You don't have to, do you have to stay unmedicated?
I do have to stay unmedicated.
What do we, how can we help you?
I don't know. Like, you know, just... I'm fine. It's just, it's noticeable in my day-to-day. And it's not necessarily like stressing me out or causing a lot of problems. It's just like, I was on like a 10 milligram Adderall, and I was kind of like, I don't know if this is doing anything, and I know I may need a stronger dose. And then when I removed
Until you weren't on it.
I was like, oh no. But as long as I think I have gone in with intention to keep my stress levels low, you know what I mean, and not overdo it, and have this as a time of rest in my life, I think I'm going to be all right.
That feels good.
I know.
It's a different season, though.
Yeah. Which is great. It's good. You know, sometimes I need something to be like, slow the fuck down.
Right?
Take, you know? Like,
I think we get so used to being in that state of mind, because I know I spent so much of my adult life like that. And then when you finally get into a place of being able to rest, and your body is just like, well, it crashes,
yeah.
but also you don't know how to rest.
Yeah. And I don't know that I'm like there. Like, I actually feel like I've been taking care of myself this summer and
Yeah, you
like
totally
making
have.
sure
This is proof of it.
I know it really is. It really is. We're recording. So maybe I just hold on to this recording for a while and let the world know that I'm 5 weeks pregnant. It's very exciting.
Right, because we won't release it for a while.
No, we won't release it. Not until I'm ready. Not until I'm ready. But it is quite the story, though.
Oh my gosh. But like, such a testament of holistic medicine.
It is, yeah. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, because, and if anyone is listening and you feel triggered regarding infertility, just know that that is what we are about to talk about a little bit. We'll kind of reverse, but I probably will have already released the episode about Audrey by then.
Yeah, of course.
But so, I mean, she is 8.5, and after I gave birth to her and I breastfed her for the majority of the first year, my period did not come back.
Which I think that's really normal. Did you think it wasn't normal?
I was done breastfeeding her for like
Oh.
a couple of months, and I was like...
And like you still didn't okay.
I still didn't have it.
Did you have a regular period going into that pregnancy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I did kind of sit on it for a minute
I would have.
because I was like, that's curious. But like, I just had a baby. So yeah, I think my brain was just like, well...
You're lucky. That's what I would have thought.
Yeah.
I'm one of the
Well,
lucky
I was like,
ones.
yeah, like, I mean, your body's just going to figure it back out, right? Like, whatever. And then actually, I was having, like, symptoms. Like, I kept taking pregnancy tests because I was,
you were
like,
having pregnancy symptoms?
yeah, like,
Oh.
like very hormonally charged symptoms, you know?
Yay.
Yeah, and so I was like, what is this? But, you know, took a bunch of pregnancy tests and they were all negative. So it was like weird. And so I eventually went to my OB and I told her what was going on, and she ran blood work and it came back, and she basically told me that I was in early menopause.
Oh, but how old were you?
30 or 31.
Okay.
And mind you, I literally had just had a baby.
Correct.
Like, she was one. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm sorry. What?
Yeah.
So my estrogen was really, really low, and my FSH was really, really high.
Okay.
And that is what it looks like when you are postmenopausal. So
Okay.
that is like how they come to that conclusion. And those were the words that were used. But then eventually, after I started doing my own research, it was actually like when you are younger, when you are not of menopausal age, it's actually called premature ovarian failure or insufficiency.
Oh.
So they referred me to a reproductive endocrinologist at a very respected institution.
I can imagine where this is.
Uh-huh. And I went there. They were lovely. They also did blood work. They came to the same conclusion. They ran all the blood work they were supposed to like determine why, if there was something underlying genetically, or like usually when this happens, there's like a family history.
None of that was in line with you.
There were no answers. No one had any clue. Mm-hmm. The endocrinologist I saw, though, she did push me. I didn't have I had my primary at the time had moved, so didn't have one, you know what I mean? And I had been pregnant the year before, so I was just seeing my OB all the time. So I hadn't established care with the new primary yet, but she had kind of pushed me to establish care with one and just kind of figure out what was going on with my body, because what did not match up was traditionally women who have that diagnosis are struggling with weight gain. They're gaining weight and they can't lose it and they don't know why.
Which is totally the opposite of you.
Which is totally the opposite of what was happening to me. I was losing weight. It just really, that didn't make a lot of sense to her, but she definitely was this is what the numbers say. And if you want to have another baby, your best option, really your only option, is to purchase donor eggs and do IVF. And
nobody wants to hear that, period, let alone at 30.
Yeah. And it's not that I don't think that that's a valid option if you're in that situation, but I knew...
You knew that wasn't right.
I just knew it was not the option for me. I knew my mental health could not handle that at that point in time. And so I really kind of shifted gears into okay, well, that's fine if I can no longer have any more children. But I didn't feel good, and they suggested and put me on hormone replacement therapy. So I was taking estradiol every day. I was taking progesterone for 10 days out of the month to try to manage my symptoms. And that did help. Right?
How was your mental health with that?
Not good. I would say for the next 2 years of my life, I was not in a good place at all. But I'm the medicine did help with the symptoms, but I just couldn't I couldn't get over, well, if we are root cause people.
We are. We always have been.
So it really, really bothered me that they were just well, you're going to take this medicine for the rest of your life, and if you want to have another baby, you've got to buy donor eggs. And no one could answer why is this happening? Because again, if I had had no children, I may have been a little more accepting of it. Okay, this is just kind of the deal with my body.
Right.
I did not struggle to get pregnant with either of my girls, and prior to both of those pregnancies, my cycles were very regular. Although I had heavy bleeds. I had pain. They were painful. So I wouldn't say they're like normal, but as far as like timing and consistency of them,
Regular.
that was never my issue.
Right. So no indication
No.
of anything prior.
No. And I mean, I'll get into this, but like now looking back, I'm like, there certainly was. It was just covered up by birth control,
Oh my
not
gosh,
looked
yeah.
into.
You don't have to even get
You know what I
we
mean?
don't have to go there. Yeah.
Well, we'll get to it because I just think, I don't want to say the diagnosis was incorrect because that's how you make that diagnosis is based on that blood work. Mm-hmm. And it was there over and over and over and over
So
again.
in that point in time in your life, that's what you were experiencing.
That's what I was
and that
experiencing.
was
Yeah.
factual.
Correct. Correct.
It just wasn't permanent.
It wasn't permanent.
And it didn't have to be.
And it didn't have to be. And so, yeah, that is just what it was for like several years. And until I started to take a more holistic wellness approach.
Which was that with the people you're with now?
I started by getting very regular chiropractic adjustments. Somewhere else, not where I am now. And there did come a time where I was starting to have weird symptoms again, like while I was on the hormone replacement therapy. So it was like I was getting side effects from it. And I think that was when I was like, I don't want to be on this forever. I don't feel good. I don't feel good again. And so...
Well, and I think the liver can have a hard time processing all those synthetic hormones.
Sure.
So maybe it was doing a really good job for a while and then eventually
Yeah.
was like, hey, this is too much now.
Yeah, so I kind of just decided, like, hey, I don't want to be on this forever. There's got to be other ways. Other things I can do. So I did, that's kind of where I started. I was just like, started to take better care of my body in the sense I was getting regular adjustments and...
Maybe eating a little more too?
Started eating more.
I don't know if like that timeline was in there, but I remember when you started being like,
I'm not eating enough.
You'd be like, did I eat today?
Yeah, my mental health was in the crapper. And so when people would ask me, though, they'd be like, are you eating? I'm like, yeah.
Sure.
And then when I really started to pay attention to it, it was also around the same time. Like,
you started working with Teresa, our dietitian.
No. This was
this
way
is
sooner.
way before?
This is way sooner.
Okay.
But it was when
Excuse me.
I started noticing ADHD symptoms in my oldest. And then when I started learning about that, I was realizing that I had it too.
Okay.
And so I guess my system was so stressed with like the executive function of like motherhood, work, starting a business, all of it, that if I am not careful and I am hyper-focused on something, I will not clock that I have to eat or pee. So it's skipping meals. Really
Never noticed that about you.
Yeah, really regularly.
Okay.
Like I would be seeing patients all day long, and then at like 3 o'clock, I'd finish with my last one and be like, you have had to pee since 10 a.m.
Isn't that crazy?
Terrible. And like, you haven't eaten all day. So yeah, I just started to pay a little bit more attention to that. I started eating more. But even on the hormone replacement, and like they had said like, oh, like you should still have regular bleeds, like you're having a period, because the estrogen should build up and then the progesterone drops and that should trigger
And that
a bleed.
wasn't happening?
No.
Okay.
9 times out of 10, that was not happening.
Okay.
So...
Like this whole time?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the whole time. So then it started happening. And I was like, that's interesting. And that's when I started to like have side effects from the medication as well. And there was a lot of stuff going on like with my gut. And so that is when I moved to my current chiropractor, who also, digs into some medicine. Like functional medicine stuff. And we started to like target my gut as well. And then based on symptoms, like we had kind of talked about like, well, it kind of seems like your symptoms are more consistent with estrogen dominance.
Which was opposite.
Which was opposite of what all of my blood work had said. But this was years later. So I also want to say like being on that hormone replacement could also have helped.
It could have done its job.
Yeah.
And then,
And then my body was like, oh, you got to make this.
Exactly.
Right.
Like it finally started kicking in.
I just don't ever want to be like, the medicine was bad and the medicine did this, because I was like, it definitely could have played a very positive role in the fact that my body was like, oh, this is what you should be doing.
There is a time and a place. And
yeah.
I have experienced the same thing in that sense.
We will never know. We're never going to know. We really won't. But I was like, oh, and then I kind of started doing research on that, and I was like, oh, yeah, she's right. Like, this seems like exactly what's going on, which, like, you know, if you're not familiar with that, it doesn't necessarily mean your body is making too much estrogen, but it means that, like, your estrogen and progesterone are not, like, leveled out the way they should be, right? So I stopped taking the estradiol. Like, I weaned myself from the hormone replacement therapy. And then I guess it would have been 2 years ago now, I had my first period where I was not on anything. And I was like, this is curious. So very interesting. I had not been back to the reproductive endocrinologist since then, because my mentally, I felt like every time I walked in there, like, I wanted answers as to what I could do to improve my symptoms and improve my health outside of the hormone replacement therapy. And every time I walked in there, it was brought up to me that I should buy donor eggs and do IVF. I can get you pregnant. You can buy. I felt like I was being sold. And I didn't like it, so I stopped going. And so when I had that first, like, natural period, I went back to my current OB and was like, what do you think about this? Right? And they were basically like, oh, well, we can run some blood work, but, you know, even if you're in some sort of, like, temporary remission, you're never going to be one of those women who make it until they're 50 before they go into true menopause. Literally, that was what was said to me. And I was like, okay.
Did they say anything about getting pregnant?
Not really. And I think at that point I was really...
Like, it wasn't even on your radar, was it?
Well, when I went in, I was like, oh, I think by the time I had got there, I'd had 2 periods, but they were not regular. And then it had been maybe 60 days since my last one. Mm-hmm. And so she was like, well, do you think you're pregnant? I'm like, I have no idea, you know? And so she did, like, check. Mm-hmm. But consistently every time I had gone back there, and I don't know if I had just internalized that, like, I couldn't get pregnant, but I was scared to say out loud that I wanted to be.
I understand
because of that attitude of, like, well, you're never going to make it till 50 or whatever, like, I felt stupid bringing that up. Because they had told me so definitively that my chances were so low.
Right. So you don't want to put yourself in the position of wanting something that you're not going to be potentially able to have.
Yeah. Yeah. So more time passes as I'm working through all of this wellness stuff. I had since, like, done some chronic infection work, you know, like, I'd done a lot of work on my gut and my health, my mental health, my physical health, all of it. And still... periods were kind of all over the place. But, like, by the time I went back, like, last year, I'm like, I've had 7 periods this year, right? And again, I just felt very blown off because the response was, bodies are weird. Literally.
I remember you saying that.
Literally. Bodies are weird. And so I'm like, should we run blood work? Well, and then the response was, which, again, I understand, like, well, it doesn't really matter because things could be super level right now, but that doesn't mean they're gonna be, or, like, it's not really gonna tell us much. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
So then at this point, I don't even know. I don't even know how to describe it because I just was so, like, I was being very cared for in one area. And then when I would go this traditional medicine route, I was feeling very blown off, very unsupported,
Yeah.
and it felt real icky,
Right.
you know?
And I know you're not alone in that feeling.
No. So I did establish care with a new primary provider. Like this was, gosh, I want to figure out when this was, but it was like within this past year, right? And I had a history with him because he used to live in my hometown and then he moved here, and so I was familiar with him, comfortable with him, and I kind of gave him the rundown of what was going on. And he was like, "I'll run your blood work," and so he did. And based on like where I was since my last period, all the numbers were normal. And he was kind of like, "I don't necessarily have an answer for you, but these numbers look good, you know, and I don't know, we got to just kind of see what happens. Like, keep doing what you're doing."
Exactly. So he even was just like, okay, this looks good. Do what you're doing.
Yeah, and like hopefully he's like, "I'm hoping they'll like, you know, regulate out even more, like your
Yeah.
cycles will." And I'm like,
Something
okay.
is happening with you.
Yeah, it's positive, right? Like it's the first like positive feedback, and the first time in a while a doctor had been like, "I hear you, let's look." You
It
know?
doesn't seem like that should be so hard.
I know. So then too, like I'm always, because I'm so root cause, and you know, you're not supposed to Google, but I do all the time, and I do my own research. I know how to read research articles.
Correct.
Like I
We have
look into
experience
things
and
on my
training in
own,
this.
and thank God I do, because, you know, if I just blindly listened to whoever, I wouldn't be where I am right now.
You'd still think you have menopause.
Yeah.
Or you are in menopause.
Yeah, I
should
would
say.
still think that. Right.
Yeah.
So I started to kind of realize, like, I think over the last decade, we've learned a lot more about PCOS.
That's true. Very true.
And I have, looking back now, had symptoms of PCOS for my entire life.
Same.
You know, like my
Did
whole
you ever
li-
get a diagnosis of PCOS?
No one has ever
Me
diagnosed
either.
me,
Me either.
but I'm
Isn't that
confident I
fascinating?
have it.
Same.
Like, so confident. Which, like, at this point, I don't know that it, like,
Right.
fully
we
matters.
still keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah. But so I went for my examination that I'm supposed to go to with my OBGYN, and I went in after feeling blown off last time with some very targeted questions. And one of them was, "Do you think it's possible that I just have PCOS?" And that after that
Oh,
pregnancy,
you asked that, or your provider?
I asked that.
Okay.
I asked her very directly.
Okay.
"Do you think it's possible that I have PCOS?" And that after my last pregnancy, it just got really bad. Like it like triggered it big time. And she said, "Well, you don't have the body type for that."
You know, not everybody fits in a box.
I know. And like the research that I had done is like, well, you only have to have like 2 of the, you know what I mean, to qualify. And so I
Okay.
was like, well, I don't know. But after I asked that question, she did kind of jump and start like running specific blood work and
Okay,
like
that's
trying to
good.
figure it out with me. Yeah, so that was kind of where I landed. And then I still, because like, even though my periods had returned, they were more regulated. They still, up to this point, up to this pregnancy, they were not normal. But she did at that point put me on like a cyclical progesterone only.
Okay.
So-
So, like birth control, or
No, well, first it was
Just
Provera,
progesterone.
and then it was just like a progesterone because I was having side effects from the Provera. Shocking. Because they were irregular, and then I was having like, they were really painful when they would come, and they were heavy. So she was like, "Well, we can put you, 14 days on, 14 days off, and it'll at least trigger a bleed so that when you do bleed, it's not awful." And I'm like, that makes sense. And I skipped the part for like a while back. I did do the Dutch test.
and what did that tell you?
I wish I could remember, but I mean, ultimately it was like progesterone is your problem at that point, right? Like it was like your estrogen levels are decently high, but your progesterone is not. And so I had done some more holistic type stuff trying to trigger the progesterone. When I first started taking it, like my body, like I would take it and it would be like, you know what I mean? Like it was so clear that my body needed it, but ultimately was not enough. So I do think I saw a big change when I started to take that oral progesterone 14 days on, 14 days off. And my energy levels were better.
Yeah.
I started working out again.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And that's such a testament. I think so many women get written off at really any age. I mean, it starts in adolescence, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, your hormones are messed up. Here's
Yeah.
some birth control.
Yeah.
Oh, your
Oh, yeah,
hormones
that's
are
how it
messed
started.
up. It's
Your periods are
perimenopause.
painful.
Yeah.
Here's some birth control.
Yeah, my testosterone was too high as a teenager, so they gave me birth control. We don't want to look further into this.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like, it's just so many women are blown off.
That was the deal though back then. I mean, when we were like 15,
100%.
like that was the deal.
Yes.
We all know that. Like we weren't
Yes.
looking into anything. We
We are doing differently with our daughters now. That
Definitely.
is for sure.
Definitely.
I mean, maybe not everybody is aware, but I think so many more of us are aware.
I am, and that's not even to say like I would never let them be on birth control. Like if they want to be on birth control, I will support them in that. But I know that I'm going to do a better job educating them about their bodies and how the reproductive system works and like what that actually means when you're taking that.
Correct. Well, and there's different kinds now
Yeah.
that we didn't have back then.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. We've come a little ways. I don't want to say we've come a long way because
We have a long
my
ways to
goodness,
go. Yeah.
we don't know. If there's anything that I learned through all of this is that we don't know jack shit about the female body.
Right? It's sad.
It's wild. Even my new OB, who is so lovely, she was like, I don't know that anyone is ever going to be able to explain to you why your body did that. And I'm like, I understand. I don't need you
Kind of like what she
necessarily.
said, bodies are weird.
This was a different doctor.
Okay,
This is a new
the other
doctor.
one.
Yeah, she wasn't wrong. And like
Yeah.
bodies are weird.
They
and like,
are.
But
But that's not
what
the
should have been
answer.
said is like bodies are kind of crazy. Sometimes they heal spontaneously, and the reality of the situation is we don't know a lot about the female reproductive system except how to control
How to control
our
it.
reproduction.
Yes. True.
So, yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, like, I don't know, this was like a huge surprise. And I can't. Oh, well, and also I want to say I did a lot of things like in my environment of like, I cut out a lot of plastics and, paid more attention to the things that were going in my body and my laundry detergent and my dishwasher detergent.
See, I
and,
don't
like,
think I realized that you were making those changes.
Yeah, bit by bit. It was
Yeah.
slow. The air fresheners in our house, like I was taking note of the things and watching the research on like
Yep.
endocrine blockers and
Yes,
like all this
they're
stuff.
everywhere.
And so I was just like, I'm making these little changes because to me, even though I knew like I wanted another baby, and I have for almost a decade, but I also never lost sight of like, even if I can't, and even if I never have more, I want to feel good. And I want to heal my body. And so I really tried to really focus on that and did a lot of like hormone tracking. Like I got one of those things where you can like test your urine, it'll show you your levels. Like, I mean, there's so many parts of this journey where I was just like watching it and making changes and doing all this stuff.
But what I'm hearing is like, you want to feel well, and this is the incredible outcome of focusing on
Like focusing on your
yourself.
wellness. Yeah, and I won't deny that even, we were trying to, I'm tracking my basal body temperatures constantly and like tracking all of that to give us our best shot at another baby. But I genuinely, I don't want to speak for Dan, but I think we both were kind of in a place where we were like, this is probably never going to happen. Like, this may never happen. We're going to keep working at it. And I think we're both laughing because we both have recently made comments of like, well, we're really in a sweet spot with the kids, right? Like they're 8
Maybe
and
we
10.
just don't want
Like it's
anymore.
okay. You know what I mean? Like this feels really good.
That
This
sounds real familiar.
Yeah. this independence. Like, we can go to the pool and we don't have to be on top of everybody. And, like, you know, it feels good. We're doing a lot of traveling, which I think we'll continue to do.
You will. You're still going to be able to do all those things.
I'm not worried about any of that, but it's just so funny. Like, as soon as we're just like, I don't know, this feels pretty good where we're at. And, like, and yeah, like a little bit of acceptance. And, like, we didn't stop trying. We didn't stop tracking all of that stuff. We were still watching for signs of ovulation. But I think we were both pretty at peace with like, okay, like this may never happen and like that's okay. And then at the same time, when we would try and then I wouldn't get pregnant, there still was that twinge of just like disappointment. Yeah. And like, yeah, it's sad. It's so sad. Like if you're out there too, like try, you know, like that, it feels so bad.
The amount of pregnancy tests that we take.
Yeah.
That say negative.
Yeah, it feels awful.
Yeah.
You know? And it even always felt so hard. I feel compelled and able to tell this story and really dive into it now, obviously. And, like, I'm very early in my pregnancy. I don't know what's going to happen. But, like, when I was in it and, like, getting all those negatives and not getting the outcome that I wanted, I also almost felt stupid talking about my infertility because I have 2 beautiful children, which is so dumb. I can see that now. Like, I'm like, wow, like you were feeling that though, you know, that like I wasn't putting myself into that basket of people who struggle with infertility because, you know, 7 and 9 years ago, I got pregnant with no problem at all. And I should feel grateful.
Why should you want more?
Yes. But like, yeah, already I'm like, oh yeah, you were really feeling that, but that's not, I mean, it's valid to feel whatever you're feeling, but like, why, you know? Yeah. So I don't know. We're going to see how this rolls. Blood work's looking good.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited. But I am like, I told you this, but I'll say it again for the listeners. Like, I'm definitely having a very challenging time like trusting my body. I've peed on many, many sticks. I'll just like wake up in the morning and be like, "Are you delusional? Is this real? You better go pee. You better go pee on a stick. You got to test. Make sure I got to see those lines. You know." And like, took a couple of dye tests and then had to go get the digital because, like, you know, I just could not believe it.
Yeah. It's shocking.
And then I almost needed, even though I had taken, like, I had an OB appointment already scheduled to establish care with a new doctor. And so when I went in and I was about 4.5 weeks, I still was in so much denial. And I mean, I had taken 15 tests, like, I'm not exaggerating, but I still needed her to be like, yeah, the one you just took here is positive too.
That's okay.
I know.
And that's understandable considering everything that you've gone through.
Yeah, I needed someone else to be like, you're pregnant. Like you are. Because I'm still like, are you? Is everything, what? Yeah. You know, it's a crazy feeling coming out on the other side of that. And then, you know, Dan and I had both said separately to each other that we were thinking about, we were just like, it's early. We don't know what's going to happen. I've never experienced a loss before. But we both are just even kind of like, God forbid that happen. Your body can do it. And that is a humongous
girl
step.
It is. And that's the same thing that I experienced when we first got pregnant. We went through that same, like, hey, we're old. It's not going to happen. It's fine. We want another one. But, like, it's probably not going to happen. And then we got the shock of being pregnant, which was, like, wild. I was so shocked. I mean, so blown away.
Yeah, you're like, what? My body can do this?
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
And we did have a loss. It was my very first loss. I've never had that happen before, and it was devastating. Yeah. And I'm the type of person that shares.
Me too.
Right? You're already talking about this
and
right
that's
now.
What I'm saying.
You knew, I think, like, the day I found out, maybe the day after I found out I was pregnant.
Exactly. And I've said that same thing over and over again, that, we don't know what's going to happen, and I am older now, and my body has not cooperated. But, like, I'm just, even if I were to experience a loss, I am just not the kind of person that's going to
Yes.
hold that on my own. I'm going to tell people and do exactly
Yes.
what we do on this podcast all the time, which is share so that everybody, like,
Yes.
you're not the only one.
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
like, that feels good. It makes you feel seen.
And it helps you be cared for. And
Yeah.
that was a little bit different for us.
Yeah.
Our family dynamic. It's not what I would have chosen, but it's what I respected for our relationship.
Yeah.
And I struggled with that significantly.
Yeah.
But it's past, you know,
Yeah.
and that's okay. And we got pregnant. So, like, I don't know how loss happens. Like, I don't understand the dynamics of our body after loss. I ovulated 2 weeks later and got pregnant immediately. And I was like,
And healthy pregnancy,
holy
right?
shit.
Like, we've got a healthy
we
baby
have
boy,
a baby that
right?
just tried to walk in right now.
Yeah, right. I think he
But-
wants you.
and that's kind of like what you were just describing. You're like, I can get pregnant. We can want this. We can do this.
Yeah.
And I feel like my body was like, we're trying to
For
start.
sure.
You know, I'm trying to start the engine and rev the engine, and okay, now we got to try over again.
Yeah. And a little bit of that attitude is definitely like, my guard's up.
Yeah.
Like,
Understandably.
You know,
like,
and-
don't get too attached.
yeah, like,
But don't believe that.
Like-
because you're still going to be attached.
I know. And it's like, yeah, like, I'm trying to do a lot of like self-talk of like, it's okay to get excited about this.
Yes, it
and so
is.
the more I have shared the news with people, like, that has really helped because people are like responding how
excited.
you responded, which is like in tears. Like, people who know what I've been struggling with are just like over the moon for me. And it's like bringing them to tears. And I'm like, I'm struggling to get there because I'm guarded. But the more I'm sharing it, the more like that piece
Real
of
it
me
is.
is opening up and like, yeah, this is okay. And if something were to happen, like, I have this beautiful support system. And I'm not gonna sit in that alone. You
Good.
know, I would never sit in that alone.
Good.
So the vibes are like, everything's looking good. So I'm feeling really good
I'm going to take this day by day.
right now. But I'm like, well, because I just got all that blood work back and it looks
Right.
good. I have like that, like,
Right. That objective
concrete, like,
data.
confirmation that things are like going well. But I don't get my first ultrasound to like hear the heartbeat until the 5th. So like, that's like a couple of weeks away. You know what I mean? So I feel like by the time
feels
that
like
comes, I'm going to
so
be
long.
like twitching over, you know what I mean? But I gotta be honest, like, I felt a little bit of this with both of my other pregnancies as well.
I think
you know
that's
what I
fair.
mean? I think it is too. I think we're all a little like guarded in that first trimester to be like,
Things happen.
things happen. Yeah, and I've been very
And-
lucky that they, you know,
Exactly.
I
There
haven't
are-
experienced that before, but I could, and I know
And
that
there are
it's,
circumstances that it's definitely meant to happen in the sense that, like, this just was not a viable pregnancy.
yes,
And,
but
but those moments, we just don't know.
yeah, but I even think like being open and vulnerable about what I'm feeling about that right now, like, it sounds so like, no, like, be excited about your pregnancy. You have no reason to think this isn't going to work, but like, we all feel this way when we first get pregnant. If you don't, I'm proud of you. Most people that I talk to
Right.
are nervous, which is why traditionally people will be like, well, I'm not going to tell anyone until I'm 12 weeks, which is like, I wish we would throw that out the window.
Amen.
I mean, if you are a person who likes to hold that stuff close, I understand that
Yeah.
you would want to do that, but I'm not going to do it just because, like, that's the norm and that's what I'm supposed to do. Because it just does not feel natural to me.
well, and that, like, also, how many norms do we go by?
Correct.
I don't.
Correct. So,
But-
yeah, I've really started. So, you know, I'm not necessarily ready to release this episode and put it out into the
Exactly.
entire universe, but the people
But-
who are close to me are finding out. Like, now. Like, yeah.
Yeah, who knows when we release this? But I'm so excited. We're
Yeah,
talking
when I'm
about it.
ready, you know, but it's, yeah. I had already thought, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to talk about this, like, on the podcast, because we're always like very feeding focused, but the theme of this really is opening up and sharing and
I
and
agree.
making sure, and like, we have all, I can guarantee most people out there can relate to something one of us has said here. Like you said, it's like we've both kind of like experienced infertility in different ways. It's so hard. But like, we look at the data and the numbers, like, a lot of us are experiencing this.
Yeah,
It's time we
talk about it.
talk about it and be
Yeah, I
real
agree.
and vulnerable with our emotions. So I feel good about talking about it and
Good.
telling everyone how I'm feeling. So
Good.
yeah, so I'll keep you guys updated, but hopefully come March, we'll have a healthy babe.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to Spill Your Milk. We hope today's episode brought you some clarity, comfort, and practical tips for your feeding journey.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with fellow parents and professionals who might need a little extra support.
You can also follow us on Instagram at Spill Your Milk Pod for more tips, resources, and behind-the-scenes content.
Until next time, remember, every drop of effort you're putting in makes a difference. Keep spilling your milk, and we'll see you soon.